My name is Laura and I like to craft stuff. I like to look around on Etsy every once in a while, and I saw these beaded brooches and things, and I wanted to get one. There was this beautiful beaded beetle that I just thought was so pretty. So I went and I went to go get it, and I realized it's actually a kit that I can make it myself. Like, they prepare kits, and it got me wondering, like, do they have set amounts of beads? Like, how is this working? But also, I thought I'd give it a try. I've never really beaded like this, so why not try it on camera? Why not? And if it's super easy, maybe you guys can try it too. They weren't too bad. I think I got 2 kits, and I think they were about $20 each. But given how beautiful they were, at least in the photos, I was like, I want one. So, yeah. Let's get into it. Just so you all are aware, I try to post every other Tuesday. As my name would suggest, I like to craft stuff. So, so this is a beaded kit. The seller is, or the shop is called Seller Online Craft. Seller Online Craft. So I did go back to look this up. I recently got these, and the shop is currently taking a short break, but I'm hoping that they're going to be back, and there's even a little button that says email me when they're back in stock. So you can easily do that. I did get 2 kits while I was at it. So one was for the beetle and one was for the dragon. I chose the beetle because the beetle had more beads and was more bead focused. The dragon had more embroidery, and so that'll be interesting to try. But I really wanted to try the beetle one. So inside the kit, it really was well organized. They gave you everything you needed pretty much. The one part that I would say they didn't give you was glue, but you could have it as either something to hang or as like a brooch. And so they do include a little like pin backing, which I thought was cool. And that was the option that I had kind of wanted, although at the end of this, I don't know that perhaps I would have changed my mind, but this is me going through all of the fun little pieces. They counted out some of the supplies, but like the beads were, I would say, pretty spot on how much you needed. I just used them improperly towards the end. But everything was labeled, and that part was pretty easy. And I would say I can understand why these kits are $20, seeing all of the work that went into it. As someone who has tried to do similar ideas, this was a lot of work that went into it, so I can appreciate that. And I, ultimately did have fun. Spoiler alert, I did have fun. So they do also include 3 needles, and that was already in the kit. I was worried and concerned that no needles at all were included, but no, I just had passed by them. So there are needles included, and they seem pretty decent needles, and so they'll be in my stash. I can use them again. When I was getting into this, part of it did require glue, this part and some other parts, and it didn't specify what kind of glue you were supposed to be using. I started out with my glue gun. The thing was, I was also working on this in the middle of unpacking and kind of moving. So I didn't have all the supplies that I would have liked, and I really didn't want to go out and buy a whole bunch of different glues. Spoiler alert, in the end, I did, but I tried to just use what I had. I think that if I were to do this all again, knowing now how it turns out, I would have used a glue gun the entire time. I feel a little bit more comfortable with the glue gun, but honestly, it would have been nice if they had specified the glue because of certain steps that are required in the end. The actual beading part was super easy and a lot of fun. I will say this though, I did not like the fishing wire that was included. I think fishing wire in general is just a pain to work with. So threading the needle, if you have really bad eyesight, which I would not say I have good nor bad. I would like to say I'm in the middle, but I wear glasses, and I had a really hard time threading the needle on the first time. But after it was threaded and I gave myself lots of room, I was able to do this actually while having a little drink. So that I would like to say is the testament to how easy the actual beading part was. They do give little instructions on kind of how to bead, like how to sew it into the felt or whatever. Some of the beads, like some of the jewels, I thought were cool. They had like an actual hole you could go through in the back of it, which was really cool. And then as you can see, the felt, you just so it's like a coloring book or one of those diamond things. I never tried one of the diamond things. Should I try one of the diamond things? It kind of feels like what I would assume that would be. Although I think that is just you just poke it in, right? But it's laid out. You can see the design on the felt. So I'm just following the design. And this part I would say was a lot of fun. I was listening to either an audiobook or a really long drama story on TikTok, possibly. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. So I will say also, I don't know that I mentioned this. This is the first beading project really I've done. So it's kind of nice that I was able to do a kit. I've seen beautiful beaded all sorts of things. And I thought about getting into jewelry making at one point, which I know is not the same as like beaded embroidery. I like the idea of beaded embroidery. So this kit was a lot of fun because I didn't have to think about it too much. I could just follow what somebody else had already designed, but it was still me making it. I mean, that can go for any paint by colors or paint by numbers, rather. You know what I mean. So yeah, I really, really did enjoy this kit. I hope that the seller is okay. I don't know what's going on, but I hope they come back because they had a lot of kits. Other beetles, other animals, other creatures. Beautiful. So it'd be fun to do this again, for sure. I say this at the beading part. I might, there winds up being more gluing. And I start out with a glue gun, but I run out of glue sticks. Oh my goodness. I will say I'm not going to skip ahead to the glue part. We'll get there when we get there. I did not cut out the design until after I fully beaded it. And in some ways, I like doing that. I think it gave me a better grip for actually doing the beadwork. But in other ways, I had a really hard time getting to the corners. I could have used all sorts of things, I know, but I didn't. So I did go back in and get some of those bigger chunks out with a smaller scissor pair. It works out in the end, and again, this is also related in part to the final problem. There's always got to be a problem. So part of it was I didn't really want to drive to a craft store because I didn't trust myself once inside to not get anything other than exactly glue sticks. So I only had a little bit of hot glue gun glue left. And then I went to a store and was getting all sorts of stuff, but they only had Gorilla Glue. They didn't have glue sticks for your glue gun, which I mean, I guess makes sense, but in the old days, they used to have that kind of stuff everywhere. But so I then tried with Gorilla Glue to glue on these little arm things, which I already also messed up. There's a bit of wire that's supposed to be covered with springy stuff, and I couldn't get it tight enough to go into the coil to be hidden. So that's another part of the problem that I had. But yeah, so I think that glue gun was probably the best bet for this because the Gorilla Glue did not want to keep my little arms down in the end. Here I am trying with the Gorilla Glue. They didn't want to stay down. I had to stop filming. It was a mess. And then in the end, once there's a little backing fabric you can put on the back that you're supposed to glue down onto the back of it. Yeah, that just made, once doing that with Gorilla Glue, totally made it like rock hard. So the next step was supposed to be beading the two sides, like covering up that seam with beads that I'm now coloring in with marker. That was supposed to be covered with beads. I didn't want to glue them down, and I couldn't sew them down because that is now rock hard because I used Gorilla Glue. So a lot of this is my fault. I understand, but I made do. So now I'm covering it up with alcohol marker. Also, I don't know that Gorilla Glue really should be worked with wire, or perhaps it was having a reaction to the glue stick glue. The back of it was really warm at one point. I think that ultimately the markering it in worked just fine. You really can't tell unless you're up close. I'm more, I think, peeved about the wiring. I feel like, so you can kind of see it at the end. You wrap the wire around itself to keep the little bead in place, and then you have this like hollow, it's a coil, so it can be pulled apart to be like more of a spring, or if it's completely tight together, it's hollow, like a hollow bead, a long bead or whatever. I couldn't get the wire to hide itself in that little thing. And I think I probably wasn't supposed to make it twisted as long as I did. So, but I didn't want to undo it. And then I had to do it for all the legs. So I did it for all the legs, and none of the legs could hide in the little springy thing. I don't remember what the name was for it. So how much of this was the kit and how much of it was my own making? Also, look at the backing. Everything that was miscolored there was rock hard. But can you tell? Look at how nice that is. You could use it to, keep a shawl or a scarf together. I do like the way that it turned out, even though it had problems towards the end. It was fun. It was a lot of fun to work on. I think that if I were to have another beetle kit, I don't know that I would have done the arms. Like in the end, I don't know how I feel about those arms. I kind of just like it without the arms. And I don't know if like I said, the backing is rock hard, so I don't think there's anything I can do about that. But if I were to get another kit, I also feel like I like it more, maybe. Like, it looks really nice on that jacket, so I'll probably wear it on the jacket or on a different jacket. I don't know. But I like the idea of it being like a Christmas tree ornament, or a Yule tree ornament, or a Halloween tree ornament. Because Michael's has been having Halloween trees, and I love the idea of that. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me on another video. I we'll have more quilting videos coming. Again, I post every other Tuesday, or I try to. So if you want to join me on future videos, like and subscribe. And I will link the Etsy link down below. So, yeah. All right. I hope you guys are having a great time, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.